Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, Orchid, looking at Ethereum as well as the graph. We'll even take a look at CoinMarketCap and just briefly see what everything's going on there. Going over some major news as well as looking at the charts. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe so that you can stay up to date on all the latest crypto news and technical analysis. If you guys haven't yet done so, it'd be greatly appreciated if you hit that thumbs up like button. I feel like my voice sounds a little bit different there. That was interesting. And so yeah, guys, if you can, please make sure you hit the thumbs up like button. Let's try to hit 100 likes on this video. Click the bell icon so you stay up to date with everything. And let's go into the news. All right, let's go ahead and start off with what's going on with Xrp and Moneygram. So Moneygram has yet to see any negative impact on its long-standing business arrangement with Ripple, the company that does XRP, from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission SEC's lawsuit against the latter company. MoneyGram will continue to monitor the situation as it evolves, a company spokesperson told CoinDesk in an emailed statement. MoneyGram has continued to utilize its other traditional FX trading counterparties throughout the term of the agreement with Ripple. Right? This is because they're doing the wait and see approach with everything. So XRP is having this lawsuit, and it's quite a big debacle that's going on in the crypto space. A lot of people are wondering what exactly is going to happen with it. This is one of those instances of some major player that is associated with XRP and how they're kind of reacting to the situation. Up next, we have some tech trends that are showing. Most notably, this sets the stage. This is what's going on with Bitcoin in regards to how we now have people like PayPal and Square's Cash App that you can be able to buy Bitcoin very easily, right? So it's saying that because we have those now, this sets the stage for Amazon and Shopify to follow suit and allow Bitcoin transactions eventually. When that occurs, it'll create a clear path towards a real economic system revolving around Bitcoin. And I did a little bit of research here, and I wanted to actually show you guys something that's very interesting with this. I thought that you could actually spend Bitcoin on Amazon. I remember hearing something of an association with that. So let's go take a look at that. And you can actually see that from this article, which was written back on January of this year, early January of this year. Wow, Bitcoin is getting a bit of a drop as I'm actually talking about this. So you can see it highlights here why Amazon does not accept Bitcoin, and then the next section right here, my Amazon ever accept Bitcoin. This is again from January this year. They said in April 2014, Amazon indicated that it would not accept Bitcoin because, quote, we're not hearing from customers that it's right for them. Ostensibly, this means Amazon might accept Bitcoin if it becomes more widely used. Since wide usage relies on wide acceptance, Bitcoin finds itself in a catch-22. If another major corporation such as PayPal Holdings, eBay or Walmart stores starts accepting Bitcoin, that might put pressure on Amazon and Bezos to keep up with the times. So I think a lot of people have been wondering if Jeff Bezos is going to come into the equation with this for Bitcoin next. A lot of people are probably thinking about more widely the adoption with Microsoft or Apple. I think those are three key preliminary investment companies that people are wondering if they're going to do this with Bitcoin soon, right? So we're seeing a lot of these other names. People are like, hey, if Microsoft comes in, they say we're buying X amount of Bitcoin, that's extremely, extremely bullish, or Apple or Amazon. But I think a lot of people forget eBay is a large competitor against Amazon. And if they want to have a leg up on their competition, they could very easily start going into this before Amazon. So Amazon might also look at that as a threat and say, well, we need to come in this before eBay does. And then same thing, Walmart, which is a very big conglomerate, they might be able to start working on the acceptance with this too. So the fact that this article from January had identified companies such as PayPal, which PayPal now allows you to be able to buy Bitcoin through them, that has set the stage to make it much more likely for these other players. Which of these do you guys think is more likely to come into play next? Who do you think is going to come out and say, hey, we're buying, or hey, we just bought X amount of Bitcoin? Do you think that it's more likely to be Amazon, eBay, or Walmart? Or do you have another company in mind? Tell us in the comments. How to make Amazon purchases using Bitcoin. So this is where it actually ties in more with what I was talking about a minute ago. Even though Amazon does not accept Bitcoin, it does accept gift cards. The Amazon digital gift cards act just like US dollars and can be applied to all product purchases, and some gift card hubs such as egifter.com, Gift Inc., and Rewards Pay Inc. let you pay for their digital cards with Bitcoin. This process adds a small step and expense, but it is the quickest workaround in lieu of a direct Amazon option. Tyler Roy, CEO of eGifter, told Forbes during a 2014 interview that he knew people were paying using Bitcoin and that they were buying specific amounts for single purchases. The real opportunity with digital gift cards, he added, is you don't have to buy more than you need down to the penny. All right, so moving on with the news. Bitcoin dominance hits one-year peak amid XRP sell-off as $24,000 briefly had returned. The Bitcoin dominance hit its highest since the late 2019 period, and historically, we've been making a top structure in December, after which we had a wonderful first quarter for altcoins. So the whole altcoin season, it's right around the corner if you looked at the trends over the years. Cointelegraph market analyst Michael Van de Poppe commented to Twitter followers on Bitcoin dominance action. Moving on. Some very bad news, but for one specific individual. Possibly, this might have actually been a test. An unknown user incurs more than $80,000 in transaction fees when sending Bitcoin worth $1. An unknown person incurred a transaction fee of more than $80,000 or 3.49 Bitcoins approximately when transferring Bitcoin worth $1.16. According to blockchain.com, the December 19th transaction, which is included in block 662052, had an input of 3.49 Bitcoin approximately and an output of 0.00005 Bitcoin. As one report explains, the unusually high fee may have been the result of an error made by the Bitcoin user when manually constructing the transaction details. However, as Alex Lebed, the head of development at Sigma DeFi, tells news.bitcoin.com, this may have happened because certain wallets allow you to spend unlimited transaction fees in order to boost your transaction with the miners. Emphasizing that this is technically possible, Lebed explains this practice is done to fund the transaction in a mining pool of your choice, making it a priority. Lebed then concludes, perhaps someone was testing the network. It's unlikely that someone made the transaction by an accident, but it's possible. In my opinion, it might have been a test. However, after the brief surge, transaction fees had dropped to $6.15 by December 20th. Nevertheless, transaction fees on the network remain higher than they were at the start of the year. On January 1st, the average fee on the Bitcoin network was 33 cents, and for the next 4 months, it remained below $1. So going from $1 all the way up to $6.15, not as bad as what we saw at one point of the $11.91, or sorry, it peaked at $12.05, so about half that amount, but still considerably higher than what it was in the initial phase of the year. Why miners aren't dumping Bitcoin despite $23,000 price? Well, this looks like it's not maybe so much the case, because after this article came out, guess what? Bitcoin started dropping a whole bunch. So what they were saying, though, is Bitcoin miners' outflow has dropped over 68% since November 2020, and more miners are choosing to hold on to their Bitcoin even at the current price level. Another metric that is critical to miner activity, but less popular overall, is the total miner outflow, or TMO. Based on data from the above chart, the total miner outflow is still at the average level, much lower than the previous bull run. In 2017 and in early 2018, miner outflow was much higher. It considerably dropped over a span of 12 months. During the 2019 price rally, with a short uptick in price, there was another surge in miner outflow, and the current price rally is yet to register a hike in the TMO. Miners are hodling through the current price level, anticipating further price discovery above $24,200, and once the outflow starts increasing, it is a sign for retail traders to watch price charts closely. Well, we had a bunch of drops that took place today, so that could be a good signifying factor that miners decided to start taking some profits. And once it started dropping more, they didn't want to miss out on their opportunity, because it was quite a substantial decline that took place. And there were some large amounts. As I was looking at the charts for liquidations on this chart right here, which I can show you guys. looking at this, I was seeing things just like this. BitMEX, primarily it's Bybit and Binance futures that I'm seeing a lot of these going on. So the derivatives exchanges, right? And I'm seeing things from 1 million, 1 million, 1 million. I saw one that was 10 million. That 10 million one I think was on Bybit, if I remember correctly from earlier, but I'm not 100% on that. So very interesting what's going on. And also interesting when you think about it, because you've got big players like Grayscale and MicroStrategy. They're buying tons of the Bitcoin. Plus you got PayPal. Plus you got Square's Cash App. Plus you got all these other big players, right? So the daily produced Bitcoin is definitely being exceeded, meaning that most people are consuming the older Bitcoin, right? So if that's taking place, and a lot of this stuff is taking also place over the counter directly with the miners, how much is really being dumped in reality from the miners? I mean, if they're already selling directly to a lot of these institutions over the counter situation, it's very interesting. A Bitcoin ETF approval will happen next year, roughly half of the block's 2021 Outlook survey respondents say. So this is kind of a twist on words. It is not guaranteed. There was a survey that was conducted, and we're going to talk about that here. But there's not a 100% guarantee of an ETF. It's just a lot of people think that the chances next year are much higher. Per the results, 37.8% of participants agreed, and 13.5% strongly agree that the Securities and Exchange Commission will give the thumbs up to a Bitcoin ETF in 2021. Conversely, 21.6% disagreed with the notion, and the remaining 27% were neutral on the topic. When a similar question was asked in the block's 2020 Outlook survey, the majority of respondents, some 77.4%, disagreed with the idea that a Bitcoin ETF would be approved during the calendar year. To date, the SEC has shot down various proposals for Bitcoin's ETF, citing the perceived risk of market manipulation and a dearth of surveillance agreements among marketplaces. So for those of you guys that don't know, a lot of people have speculated for quite a while now that if an ETF is approved for Bitcoin, that will be extremely bullish and will lead more than likely to a very significant price increase. A lot of people are waiting for ETFs. Some people are waiting for them to come out before they even get into Bitcoin, just to kind of put it into better perspective for you. Bitcoin rally attracts waves of private investment as leading blockchain venture capitalists raise new $120 million fund. On December 23rd, Seoul-based blockchain investment group Hashed revealed that it has raised $120 million for its first crypto fund. The firm, led by CEO Simon Kim, intends to invest in disruptive blockchain startups, including base layer protocols similar to Ethereum. According to Kim, the next wave of crypto networks will mark the start of the protocol economy, an era in which data and value is transmitted globally by crypto networks using a shared public ledger. He predicts strong governments and institutional support for this new paradigm and has had no trouble selling out the group's first venture capitalist fund. So they mentioned base layer protocols similar to Ethereum. Maybe they'll get involved with something like Chainlink. If you just want my personal opinion, the fact that they're also based out of South Korea, I wouldn't be surprised if they also eye Orchid. I know I talk about Orchid all the time, but I thought this was interesting because it's been for a long time now that over on Orchid Protocol's Twitter account, on the daily, they would actually repost the same thing over and over again, and it was in Korean, and it was talking about how one of their community things, you can communicate now with translated format, I believe, in Korean. And so this industry space, the VPN industry space, specifically with Orchid, I feel could have a strong appeal to people in South Korea. Now, to say that that's necessarily a base layer protocol similar to Ethereum, I mean, it works off of the Ethereum network. The same thing with Chainlink, right? But if they're looking for some projects and they got $120 million to invest into, maybe some of that money will go into those kinds of projects. So we'll have to wait and see, though. Next up, Bitcoin price drops to $23,000 in minutes, despite huge new Grayscale buy-in. Grayscale added 50% of miners' monthly block rewards tally in a single day, but the price action stays decidedly weak. Bitcoin fell by almost $1,000 in under an hour on December 23rd as spot markets refused to buy fresh good news from institutional investors. That was quite a substantial drop. They added $284 million of Bitcoin in a single day. That's 12,319 Bitcoin on Tuesday, while last week's tally was 11,512 Bitcoin. That was $266.1 million. For context, Bitcoin miners are currently able to release around 28,000 Bitcoin per month in block rewards. Substantial amount. 12,000 Bitcoin flowed out from Coinbase a few hours ago. As I said, it went to custody, looked like wallets. This was from Ki-Young Ju, CEO of on-chain analytics platform CryptoQuant, and he had tweeted, "It seems that Coinbase makes a new cold wallet for each customer after the over-the-counter deal for institutions. I'm very bullish on Bitcoin." Now let's go ahead and take a look at these charts here and see what is going on. All right. So yesterday in this price movement, this was quite interesting. The lowest price point that it had hit was right around $22,600. At the peak of the day, it was up to $24,089, actually surpassing over $20,000. This was actually met with similar action back on December 21st, as far as for that top before the resistance was hit and bounced off and came down. So this signifies a stronger trend that if we hit back up into these higher levels, that $24,100 or so is going to be pretty hard for us to break above and to establish again, because we already have two trend patterns. So people know that psychologically that is a key level of resistance being formed. So keep that in mind. Now this actual price difference was almost $1,500 from its low to its highest price point. And compared to the previous day, we had a lot of movement that essentially had canceled out what had taken place. We do have a decline, and that was about half of the actual candles position from the previous day. On the new daily formation, we're 40 minutes in to the new daily candle, and you guys can see just how substantial this decline already is. So we're back below $23,000 as it is right now. $22,820. Volume is relatively low, but we're only 40 minutes in, so that candle could end up being quite substantial. And in doing so, with this price point right here, we're not very far off from that low of that candle's body and what had started off back on December 22nd. We saw the daily candle close on the 21st and then the open on the 22nd. So from there to where we're at right now, $22,700, and we're at $22,724, and right now we're at $22,799. So it is moving down quite considerably. Most people are selling off. There's not a lot of buy action taking place, as you guys can see by comparison, and this could potentially end up flipping though. So do keep your eyes open on this stuff, guys. Crypto is very unpredictable in this fashion, and you can even take a look. This length of this candle wick on the bottom here ended up being a daily close very substantially high on the positive. So although it looked like things were being bleak and grim, it changed its mind and fully went all the way back up, came back to its starting price point for the day, and rallied even harder. This kind of stuff can technically happen. You can have a $1,500 price difference take place in the day. You could have a $1,000 price increase closeout or decrease closeout for a full day. This is Bitcoin. This is the volatility. Some specific news comes out. Miners, they decide that they want to capitulate, right? A lot of different stuff that goes into the equation for this, obviously. Now looking at this on the 4-hourly chart, you guys can see here, there was quite substantial action that took place during this 4-hour candle. Moving over into the 1 hour, even then you could see that there was quite a substantial drop that took place. More significantly amongst these two separate periods, but when we were looking at it on the 4-hourly chart, this is more in reference to that, right? So looking at it on the 4-hourly chart, once again, this showing right around the 0 mark at the midnight, and then looking at it on the 1 hour, this is at the 2 o'clock. So, and then this pushes back to that midnight position. So this whole time frame, right? Wait, that was the 23rd. Let me make sure I got that correct. Sorry, the 21st. So 21st, yeah. All right, good. So we're right on track with the same mentality. Looking at all this, then we look at it on the 15-minute chart perspective here. Once again, trying to push our way back down to the same time frame. And you could see a couple very large volumes taking place within a 15-minute time frame. So some major action starting to push itself down in a very short time period. Looking back on the daily, let's go ahead and keep our eyes on the fundamentals. Let's get that zoom back in there. I wish it would just automatically scale it back to the previous one instead of you having to rescale these kinds of things. Hopefully in a future update, they'll do that for TradingView. If this decides that it wants to go back further down, key level, look at $22,600, which we're not too far off from the moment. Right now, we're seeing some bounce action off of $22,800. So that's the lowest price point on the daily. And we also saw that comparatively for December 19th. So I would actually look at $22,800 first for a level of support. Then the next major level is going to be approximately around $22,400, as we can see on these 2 days, the formation there. Further drop down, we have only one instance here. It is technically possible at $21,880. But I would be more concerned about the fact of it going down to $21,640. And then, of course, we have the 21 EMA, which is very important. And that on the daily candle is down at $21,170. If it passes below that 21 EMA and closes out, that is a stronger sign of continued bearishness, and we could see a further price drop occur henceforth afterward. I will say this. It took 3 years for us to break an all-time high. If it takes 3 years for us to get above this $24,374 kind of range, for us to hit 25K again, it's going to be so frustrating for so many different people, and a lot of people are going to have weak hands. But the odds of us having that happen are becoming smaller and smaller because more major institutions are buying Bitcoin. More of them are locking it away. More people are going to die. They're going to lose access to their tokens. More people are going to mess up some other way, right? There's so many reasons why the circulating supply and the level of demand, that whole supply and demand key element, is going to shift, right? But a lot of stuff can change, and you have to be prepared for these things. So right now, the big goal, we got to try and hit 25,000. And psychologically, going up every $500 levels at this point is going to be very key for a psychological standpoint, right? You get over past $22,500, you're closer to $23,000. So the sentiment is saying, hey, maybe we could still hit that. Consequently, if it goes the other direction and it goes below $22,500, people are starting to think, oh, it looks like it's heading down to $22,000 now, right? So we get to $25,000. That is going to be an awesome achievement. I would expect some resistance and some sell-off. Once we can actually get above $25,000 and establish it, and it, like, the ground settles and it's looking pretty good, then I think there's going to be some major rallying going on, because people are going to say, hey, look, we could hit $250,000. We're 1/4 of the way there. And we've proved that we can stay at this level at the very least. Why can't it hit 50,000? Why can't it hit $100,000, right? I could get 4 times on my investment right now if I get in and it does want to go to 100,000. I didn't think 25K was possible. It hit it and it's staying, right? So 25,000 is definitely going to be a key psychological point. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Looking at Orchid. Well, I've been talking about this and saying that the signs are looking bearish, as much as I hate to say it, because I do own Orchid and I do own a lot of Orchid, right? But I don't want to misguide you guys, and I hope you appreciate and value my opinions. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. My technical analysis on this stuff, and you guys aren't getting wrecked with this. So for those of you guys that are still involved in Orchid, awesome. I'm still in it. I haven't given up. I'm keeping my strong hands, I believe in the future of the project, and it is what it is. Like, there's a lot of some weird things going on with the market space, but project seems really strong, and it's exciting to see what they got going on in the future. But the signs are showing bearishness, and that it is what it is. So we are, oh yeah, by the way, once again, guys, if you're enjoying this, please don't forget to hit subscribe. You can actually click that button right now while you're watching the video. If you haven't yet, it'd be really appreciated. Also hitting that like button if you've been enjoying this. Trying to get to 100 likes, guys. We've got a ways to go. Maybe, I don't know, whatever is going on in the video when we're watching this. We hit 100 already, cool. Let's go for 200, I guess. But I think we're going to still keep trying for the 100, and also the bell icon. And anyway, so looking at this right here, we got the symmetrical triangle pattern formation. some high irregularities that had came in the last couple days, such as this massive spike up. There was the announcement with Huobi, so it actually broke out of the symmetrical triangle pattern, but then guess what? Bitcoin decided it wanted to tank. So just like before, when Orchid's going on to launch on another major exchange, like with Binance, Bitcoin's like, nope, we're not going to give you the glory. We're not going to give you the opportunity to make it actually look like you could have some value inside of this industry space. I don't think that's literally what happened, but Bitcoin went down. The whole market structure went down. Ethereum, like everything was tanking. So everything that was gaining on this decided it wanted to plummet. There's also some weird shady stuff that went on, like when it launched on Huobi, Binance and Huobi were listing Orchid for around 50 cents. But on Coinbase, it was still like 28 to 30, 31 cents. There was about a 20-cent discrepancy, and I thought that was highly odd. Now, I don't know if this had anything to do with the SAFs and how people were saying, you know, the funding goes out to the early investors. When they had invested in, they got in at the 50-cent range and the 70-cent range. And so if it just suddenly launched over on Binance and Huobi around that range, and they were doing any kind of accumulating and doing dollar cost averaging before, then they could potentially just move their stuff over to one of those and take a profit and be able to get out or whatever. So I don't know if something like that was going on behind closed doors, which would be that'd be really odd and shady if somebody was doing that. But the fact that Coinbase is so much lower, I have no idea how it could be so substantially lower by comparison. I mean, that's a huge difference. And then over time, they started dropping. So it wasn't like Binance was way up here and then immediately came back down. It went way up and stayed up there for a while and then was slowly working its way down as Coinbase kind of met itself in the middle. So that was very weird. Looking at the actual chart itself, we are still below the 21 EMA. Huge red candle. It has broke down below this symmetrical triangle. 1 day of closure below is not a strong enough trend sign to suggest that we are still in a bearish trend. Although you can see that there's been a lot of consolidation that's been going on inside this space here with this box, right? So if I just go ahead and click save right there, a lot of sideways action, tried to rally itself up, came right back down and closed inside the consolidated space. Red box, same thing. Next daily candle formation, Bitcoin had a big drop today, decided it wanted to break down below the level of support, and it just kept going down. And it actually neared the base of this Fibonacci retracement right here. So this base zone is actually at about 19 cents, 0.1959. And with yesterday, it went down to about 21 cents on the Coinbase side. This was at 0.2104 before it fully closed out at 22 cents, 0.2252. On the daily, as of the time of me making this video, it is still showing signs of a further correction down. But with the signs showing for the trend below the level of support, don't be surprised, especially given the whole pump and dump situation. You get these huge reverses that take place, up, up, down, down, then back up all the way, recovering everything that was there. Huge decline down. So it's, you know, up and down and then back up again. And then here's a huge drop down. So we might very well see this fully pull right back up into the zone. But as it is looking, it's looking very likely that we could see right around New Year's, December 30th, 31st, in that period. If it goes back into the zone around 25 cents, going sideways, bouncing between these two spaces, before it actually decides that it makes a more definitive price movement again. So we had some, it's so weird. It's all in a single day. Massive rally up, but then immediately retraced right back down. So it's like, it keeps to the fundamentals in the sense that it broke above the level of resistance, right? And so it's like, all right, let's keep the rally going. But then the selling pressure pulls back, and it's so heavy, the selling pressure, that it cancels everything out and pulls it right back into the zone again. So that's absolutely bizarre. As for yesterday, this is a little bit more natural, seeing a massive drop take place because it did break the key level of support. And so it shows further signs of a further drop take place, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on in this circumstance for sure, and it's just highly, highly unusual. This is just absolutely bizarre. We could see some good rallying going back up during altcoin season coming next year, but, you know, it's hard to say with this stuff. Taking a look at this right here, though, if it decides it wants to have a further drop, we did get that bounce at about 21 cents. So I would be looking at that as a major level of support. Below that is still going to be at the depths of 19 cents, 0.1959. Dipping just slightly into the 10-cent kind of range. I would not be surprised if it very briefly sits there, as people already have buy orders in to try and make it rally back up, going towards the 25-cent range. You get a buy order in at 19 cents, right? And it goes back up to 25 cents, which we've seen a lot of consolidation here. 6-cent increase. We're talking about a pretty good little chunk of change in price movement on return on your investment. So if people are manipulating this, especially the whales, I would not be surprised that there's a series of orders set in take place right here at 0.1959. Not for sure, but that's the key level I would be looking at. On the daily, looking at the 21 EMA, it needs to come back up to this level right here at 0.2591. A little bit under 26 cents. You can basically say 26 cents, right? If it can get above the first level at 25 cents, then it gets back into that symmetrical pattern, or the symmetrical triangle. And then we got the 26-cent range for the 21 EMA, and then above that is 0.2785, just under 28 cents. And then that actually puts us in this major consolidated zone of previous movement, and then breaking above 32 cents as well. Now, moving off from that, let's go ahead and look at the graph, and let's look a little bit at Ethereum. We're actually pushing pretty hard in this video. I covered a lot of stuff in the article, so we're going to try and wrap this up pretty quickly. But you can see big price drop that took place yesterday. I actually set up a buy order at 30 cents. I decided to move it up a little bit right here. This is at 33. I went down to 33 cents, just a little bit above 33 cents, 0.3351. So personally, I raised the bar just slightly above that in case it decides it wants to retest that zone. We're seeing some further rejection taking place here. And no, you got to think about the project, right? So the project sounds like it's a great project. One of the concerns is that they have a massive circulating supply, and they've got an even more massive amount of total supply that they have yet to actually still go out to. So the price had a really strong rally that was absolutely bizarre how fast this had climbed up in such a short amount of time. But there was huge FOMO. I mean, people on Twitter were saying like, dump Chainlink, dump Orchid, dump a new cipher, dump everything else, XRP, like just move everything into GRT. Let's get it to $1, right? Everyone was going to that mentality. So no one was really caring about the other projects anymore. They just wanted to have the huge profit with this. So the project is nice, don't get me wrong, but with the amount of circulating supply, it makes it very difficult for price movement. The higher the circulating supply increases over time, it's going to be even more difficult. And right now, if a lot of the projects are suffering, there's a lot of uncertainty with things. Does this necessarily have that like Google-ish style appeal to it where there's so much uncertainty about a lot of the other projects and their future with this, right? So it's like it has so much promise, but at the same time, there's unanswered questions that are going on. If this decides to do basically like the Burj Khalifa pattern, I would be looking at another pull back down to about 26 cents here. And then a full retracement would actually send it all the way back down to around 12 cents, 13 cents. I don't see it as a likelihood of it going down to those kinds of levels. But if Bitcoin has a further tank in this situation, remember, we went up to almost $20,000 in 2017, and then went down to all the way down to what, like 3,400, 4,500, that kind of dollar range. That was super significant, and it's not to say that it's going to happen. It's more than likely not going to happen because circumstances change, but anything is possible, and you have to be willing to accept that reality that anything is technically possible. All of this could go to zero. All of it could start blowing up a ton tomorrow, right? So we're trying to read the trends and just kind of prepare yourselves. Number one golden rule, investing, never invest more than what you're willing to lose, right? Key level for it to break above, for it to set a new all-time high, is at 81 cents. If it goes into 82-cent range, then it's established itself as a new position there. Not much to really work off of on these chart trends, guys. Just looking at it on the 4-hourly chart here, a little bit of a top, a bit of a retracement back down. Looking at it on the 15-minute chart here, a lot of sideways action, huge red candle taking place in this position. Let's go ahead and look at Ethereum extremely quick and go ahead and wrap up this video. Looking at Ethereum on the daily here, you can see they had hit at a price point around $640, fully retraced down, closing out all the movement that had taken place the previous day for that green candle, but at one point dropped all the way down to to right around $550. I almost said under 550, but just right basically above $550. Right now at $574. So still having some issues trying to establish itself strongly above $600, especially trying to work towards that $700 range. A lot of people were upset the other day when Vitalik seemed to lash out at the people with XRP in that community. But at the same time, too, the people from XRP technically had some calling out that they did on Ethereum and on Bitcoin. So a little bit of some childish action going on, people saying things on Twitter, you know, just being stupid with that stuff. So it is what it is. I'm going to go and wrap up the video here, guys. It's already turned out to be pretty long. I think this might be one of my longest, if not my longest video that I've actually done on this channel before. But if you guys are new to the channel, once again, please do not forget to hit subscribe. Click the bell icon. It's so important. Otherwise, YouTube will not be pushing these videos to you, and you will not be up to date with all the news from this channel, at least, and the technical analysis. I really hope you guys do enjoy this, and I really do want to build a strong community. I highly encourage you guys to talk in the comments down below, even if you just want to say hi to me, honestly. But more importantly, if you have any thoughts or opinions on the stuff that was said today, if there's anything you think that I missed. And yeah, guys, if you can, hit the like button. Let's try to go for 100 likes on this video. You're all awesome. Appreciate you, and I will see you in the next episode.